ULI Minnesota's mission is to engage public and private sector leaders to foster collaboration, share knowledge, and join in meaningful strategic action to create thriving, sustainable communities. And that's what we hope to accomplish today. Collaborate, share knowledge, and join in meaningful strategic action.
A lot of people have asked me and the team at the Greater MSP Partnership if this was our event. And we certainly enthusiastically said, absolutely, it's our event. But it's not just our event. This is the region's event. This is the region's starting point for transformational change for our future.
We're going to be asking you to think about some scenarios that may seem a bit extreme to you. In fact, we think that some of these scenarios are going to be addressing tipping points that we are either approaching or are past, that are environmental tipping points, economic tipping points, demographic, infrastructural tipping points. And we believe that regions that are going to thrive in the future are the ones that don't hide from these, but they actually embrace them and work with them and plan for them.
We were having this real interesting scenario planning where we were pretending that our group was trying to make the case for Greater Minneapolis-St. Paul over Austin, Texas for a warehouse. A Chinese electronics manufacturer have a warehouse here. And then our neighboring table was trying to keep a graphic design firm and a marketing firm here in the Twin Cities from going to Portland.
We're taking these diverse opinions and kind of converging them and sharing them and basically promoting this discourse on how we could better promote ourselves as a region.
I'm sitting up there talking with folks from a neighborhood organizer to business folks and putting together all these different perspectives in trying to envision, we all have pieces of this puzzle, and trying to envision the direction we're supposed to go as a whole metropolitan community, I think is a lot more robust than when we just sit alone with all the folks we see every day.
There are now 9 forces in society that are doubling anywhere from every 4 to 24 months. It is computer processing power, data storage, bandwidth, the sequencing of genes, advances in biotechnology, nanotechnology, robotics, 3D printing, sensor, data technology. All of these trends aren't just creeping up linear, they're shooting up exponentially. And so when we want to think about the future of this region, we have to recognize we're just down at the lower left-hand corner. Where we're going to be in the not-too-distant future is a decidedly different place. When our way of viewing the world has been so conditioned to see something one way, even after it's changed, we don't recognize it that quickly. My message to you folks is, your world has already changed.
Really everyone has to attend to what's right in front of them all the time. So we like to say we need to pay attention to drink, drive, and flush. People want basic services and you need to do that right, but you can get so caught up in what's right in front of you that you're not taking the time to think 10 years ahead, 20 years ahead, 30 years ahead, when all our decisions that we make today will have 30, 40, 50-year impacts.
As leaders in this community, you have to give yourself time and permission to step back from the daily grind, look at these big trends, because if you don't start picking up on them, I'm telling you, you're going to end up locked up, and you're going to lose business to the Provos and the Austins and the other regions that are jumping the curve.
But I want to start talking about the wisdom of things. I know the wisdom that we have to have as a nation to really think in terms of what we are about. It cannot be about preserving the status quo. There is no status quo. Jack nailed that beautifully. But it's a recurring pattern of how we are structured right now is to try to preserve the status quo. Get over it. There is no such thing.
We have been enormously successful. But we've got to recognize that our success in the future is not dependent on our success in the past. It's dependent on what we're doing now to build that future.
Today, our global challenge is global unsustainability. There's finite resources. The fact of the matter is we're going to 9 billion people. All right? But the scary number is that 3 billion of those people have to be folded into the global middle class. And with their arrival comes a 300% increase in resource consumption. 300% increase in resource consumption. We don't have enough stuff. Period. It's a reality. It's science, it's math, it's common sense. We got to get over this concept of quantitative growth. We have to move to a place of qualitative growth. Because we're already, as a human race, consuming 1.5 planets worth of resources, but holy cow, that math doesn't work out. 1/3 of our nation clinically obese, 2/3 overweight. 1/3 of our nation clinically obese. Rate of upper respiratory disease. The fact that the average American spends 2 weeks a year in their car and commuting, that they eat 19% of their meals in their car, that our education system is waning. I would say that we're really not all that happy. And I would see that it manifested in the way we do our political discourse, or I'd say our political yelling these days. They're based around ideological frameworks that do not work anymore. We have to tend to that. Are we really happy? Are we really growing? Are we growing qualitatively, or are we only going to grow quantitatively? That's what we address. So that's why sustainability, it maps directly to our enduring interests of security and prosperity. And they interrelate. Think beyond what you're currently doing. But take what you're currently doing and put it into a new type of framework. We connect this to a grand strategic imperative, and all of a sudden, things begin to happen. This is how you think big and do big, by repurposing all the great work you're already doing as citizens.
You will hear from us. And the project management team is coming together again in a week. We're not wasting any time to think about what came up today and where we want to go next. We can't tell you that right now because we didn't want to come into this meeting and say, here are the 5 things that we think we need to do together. We wanted that to emerge from all of you.
Clearly, transportation is a huge component of this, both because of what it can do for us in strengthening our communities and really creating places and communities that are not just walkable but bring people together.
We need to do a better job and be more enthusiastic about telling our story. Not expect that people know who we are, but simply we have to kind of, break out of that Minnesota Reserve and just simply say, hey, I'm going to talk about us for a while. And I love cities in general, but I'm not sure, anywhere I go, including places in Europe, places in Latin America, there is quite the integration of sort of urban cosmopolitanism and just sheer nature. I can get on my bike and get right along the Mississippi River, and I can feel like I am out in the woods, and yet I'm in the heart of a metropolitan area of 3 million people. So that's a key asset of ours. The arts community here is tremendously strong compared to other places, and that's a real thing we have over Portland. We have a strong philanthropic community here. We have, I think, percentage-wise, as many Fortune 500 companies as anyone else. And just simply, there's kind of a work ethic here that's very strong, but also there's kind of a play ethic. This is a work hard, play hard town.
We simply need to commit ourselves to a baseline of opportunity for everybody so that we have the workforce, so that we have the healthy people, and that we have all the innovation that our wonderful, diverse community offers to us.
There are incredibly talented, energetic people in this room, and there are also some electeds here that would love to see you on a regular basis at our city council meetings, serving on our planning commissions, being part of our human rights commissions. There are some opportunities to support the things that we want to accomplish, but those things get accomplished at the local levels in those really nasty, horrible meetings on Monday night from 7 until midnight, and then on Tuesday night from 7 until midnight, and Mayor, from Wednesday night from 7 until midnight. And so if each of you would commit to showing up at one council meeting in the next year. That's all I'm asking, is one in the next year. To give positive feedback and direction and plans and hopes for your community, that would be an incredible step.
I just really hope that you'll each take that "what can I do" really seriously, because that's the way we build community. So there's lots more to come.
I think we have an enormous opportunity to lead, not only for our state, our region, the country, and I think we need to step up to that game.